Hi dears, welcome back to another session of our zoology. So in the last class we were discussing about gametogenesis, right? And we discussed in detail itself the spermatogenesis. What do you mean by spermatogenesis? The production of sperm in male or the male gamete, right? And we discussed new terms, spermiogenesis, spermatozoa, then spermatids, then spermiation. Likewise we discussed, and I hope you don't have any confusion. I know it makes little bit confusion, but when you read it thoroughly it won't make any confusion. Still, if it's making confusion, you could have a written session and do that. Okay. And also we discussed the ploidy of the sperm, spermatozoa, then spermatogonia, primary spermatocyte, secondary spermatocytes, and which all divisions are coming. Okay, so today you would be knowing that what we are going to do. Yes, it's oogenesis. Oogenesis. What I mean by oogenesis? Process of maturation of female gamete is known as oogenesis, right? What's the female gamete? Yes, it's the ovum, right? So unlike spermatogenesis, oogenesis is entirely different. We are going to see its aspects. In the spermatogenesis, we discussed that spermatogenesis is occurring only after attaining puberty. The first difference lies in that factor itself. Oogenesis, on the other hand, starts, the production of female gamete starts at the time of embryonic development itself. Got the point? So at the time of embryonic development, a couple of millions of gametes are formed, and that gametes are known as oogonia. They are known as oogonia. They are the female mother cells of the gametes, which is seen in the embryonic development. During the embryonic development, they are seen. So they are known as the oogonia. So no more female gametes are formed after the child's birth. Whatever is needed for that female in her whole life, that would be produced at the time of embryonic development itself. Got it? So a couple of millions, 300 to 400 millions of oogonia are being produced at the time of embryonic development. And what is happening at this oogonia undergo division. Similarly that of spermatogonia, isn't it? They undergo mitosis and increase their number. Out of this, some of them would differentiate and form primary oocyte. They undergo differentiation after this mitosis and they form primary oocyte. This primary oocyte would undergo meiosis first meiosis. And what are the stages of meiosis first? Prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase and telophase. Likewise, we had studied in our last year, right? So in the primary oocyte starts the meiotic division and enter into prophase 1, and it temporarily suspends the further division. Clear? All these till this formation and temporary suspension is happening in the embryonic or during the embryonic development. Is that clear? Okay. So I hope it's clear. First of all, it undergo mitosis and some differentiation and form the primary oocyte. Primary oocyte undergoes the first meiotic division, and in that the first prophase division, and it would be temporarily suspended. Clear? And further division and further maturation and what happens after attaining puberty. Is that clear? This much is being happening at the time of embryonic development. Now, each primary oocyte will be surrounded by many layers, and that layers which surround the primary oocyte is known as primary follicle. Clear? Primary follicle. Follicles are the layers which surrounds the primary oocyte. Okay? Now, large number of these follicles will get over this primary oocyte. They will form a thick layer and it will start to degenerate during the time of birth. Clear? And so this large number of follicles starts to degenerate at the time of birth to puberty. From the time of birth to puberty. You got the sentence? Large number of follicles would start to degenerate. So, after attaining puberty, I told that 300 to 400 couple of millions would be there at the time of birth. So, degeneration is happening from the time of birth to the puberty. So, after attaining puberty, it would be only 60,000 to 80,000. So, it has reduced. Only this much primary follicles would be present after attaining puberty in each ovary. Okay. So, after attaining puberty, these primary follicles would undergo they will get more and more surrounded by new layers. Clear? So, inside this they contain the primary oocyte. Primary oocyte. So, the primary follicle would contain or surrounded by more layers, and primary follicle would transform into secondary follicle. Secondary follicle would transform into tertiary follicle. Okay. So, they are surrounded by layers along with theca. Theca is also a form of layer which consists of an inner layer and an outer layer. So, the primary follicle would convert into secondary follicle. Soon after, it will transform to tertiary follicle. Tertiary follicle is characterized by a fluid-filled cavity. A fluid-filled cavity is present in the tertiary follicle and they are known as andrum. Andrum. Clear? Now, what does the tertiary follicle inside it contain? Primary oocyte. So, primary oocyte will be well protected inside the tertiary follicle. So, it had attained puberty. Now, the division starts at the puberty level. Now, what happens? The primary oocyte present in the tertiary follicle. Clear? Primary oocyte present in the tertiary follicle undergo or oocyte. It will continue the meiotic division or the meiosis. It will complete its stages. Only prophase 1 was completed at the time of embryonic development. Right. Now after that, it will complete its whole meiotic division and it will form to secondary oocyte. Clear? Secondary oocyte retains whatever things are present in the primary oocyte. The cytoplasm and everything, whatever is present in the primary oocyte. Now, what is happening to the tertiary follicle? Tertiary follicle would undergo certain changes and they will form mature Graafian follicle. Clear? They will form the mature Graafian follicle. Now, the secondary oocyte forms a new membrane with the tertiary follicle is formed to the, see, this is the secondary oocyte. They are covered by the Graafian follicle. Now the secondary oocyte will form a new layer which encloses the Graafian follicle and secondary oocyte, that is known as the zona pellucida. Read your text carefully, otherwise it will become more complicated. Okay. So secondary oocyte with the Graafian follicle would produce or a new layer is formed known as zona pellucida. This secondary Graafian will rupture upon maturation, and they are responsible for the release of the secondary oocyte. Secondary oocyte is otherwise known as ovum. Clear? They will release the ovum. Okay? And that process is known as ovulation. That process is known as ovulation. Clear? Okay. So that's all about the oogenesis happening in the females. Now we can check with the what? Schematic representation. What happened? Oogonia undergo mitotic division, mitosis, and some of them would regenerate, differentiate into primary oocyte. Primary oocyte undergo the prophase one, that no need. You can go for the whole meiotic division or meiosis, and they form secondary oocyte. Secondary oocyte would undergo ovulation and release ovum. Okay, so what is the ploidy of oogonia? It would be 2n. Again, mitosis had happened. Ploidy of primary oocyte is again 2n. This will undergo meiotic division, which causes the reduction of chromosome into haploid, and that is retained in the ovum. So I hope it's clear to you how the ploidy and all are maintained. Okay. So in the last class we discussed the spermatogenesis and also the structure of sperm. I told you have to study the figure. Okay. So along with this, we are going to see the menstrual cycle. So menstrual cycle, you know that you have studied in your lower class. As a little bit you have studied. In 10th standard also, in 8th standard also we have studied. Right. So menstrual cycle is a characteristic feature that is happening in the females of the group primates. What are primates? We human beings are primates. Monkeys, apes, chimpanzees and all comes under this primate. So it's a characteristic feature. Clear? So it's a reproductive cycle. So that reproductive cycle is termed as menstrual cycle. Okay. So onset of the menstruation after attaining puberty is known as menarche. Onset of menstruation is known as menarche, and you know that which all the ages and all we have studied in our lower class. I am not going to that area. Okay. And again, you know that it is repeated by having an interval of 28 to 29 days. That means at every 28 to 29 days, this menstrual cycle happens in a female. Again, the menstrual cycle starts from one menstruation and till the next menstruation is known as menstruation cycle. The cycle of events. Cycle of events that starts with one menstruation till the next menstruation is known as menstrual cycle. We'll be dealing in detail. Okay. So, during menstruation, you know that one ovum is released from either the left ovary or the right ovary. That process is known as ovulation. And this release of ovum is happening at the mid-cycle of this menstruational cycle. Clear? And cycle starts with 3 phases are there for the menstrual cycle. We are going to see in detail the menstrual cycle. So the cycle starts with menstrual cycle. Menstrual phase. I'm so sorry. Menstrual phase followed by follicular phase, then ovulatory phase, then luteal phase. So altogether we can say ovulatory phase is nothing but it's just a phase is there. So together we can say ovulatory phase and luteal phase. So total it would be 4, but as a ovulatory phase and luteal phase we can coin together. So I am drawing your attention towards this area. Menstrual phase. So menstrual phase starts with the onset of menstruation. It starts with the menstrual flow. So the menstrual flow occurs and it lasts for 3 to 5 days. Now what are the changes or why the menstrual flow is occurring? Menstrual flow is due to the degeneration of the inner lining of our uterus. Which is the inner lining of uterus? Yes, it is the endometrium. So the rupture of endometrium results in the menstrual flow, and along with the rupturing of the endometrium, blood vessels that forms the thick fluid also comes along with this remnants of endometrial particles, and it would flow through the vaginal portion. That is known as the menstrual flow, isn't it? So the menstruation occurs only when the ovum is not fertilized. If ovum is fertilized, then it will indicate the pregnancy, right? So there will be no menstruation. You have to check upon the figure 3.9, the diagrammatic representation of this menstrual cycle. Okay, so if the ovum is not fertilized, then menstruation occurs. So however, this menstruation also stops when there is poor health or we are under a mental stress and all. At that time also there would be some delay for this menstruation, and also when the lady or when the female is pregnant, no menstruation happens. If the ovum is not fertilized, menstruation starts with the menstrual phase. Clear? And menstrual phase is followed by second phase, that is follicular phase. Now what had happened in the menstrual phase? All the degeneration happened and the menses had happened. Now during this phase, the primary follicle would transforms to Graafian follicle. First thing, primary follicle would mature and transform into Graafian follicle. That's the first thing happens in the follicular phase. Simultaneously, the degenerated endometrium starts to regenerate by proliferation. By the process of proliferation, this degenerated endometrium starts to regenerate. So repairing state is follicular state. Okay. So all these changes in the ovary and the uterus are controlled by the ovarian and pituitary hormones. So in the last class we discussed the pituitary hormone, gonadotropin releasing hormone, which releases LH and FSH, right? This hormone again induces or are secreted in the oogenesis also. Okay, so since this is a pituitary hormone, so they will increase gradually. The secretion of gonadotropin releasing hormone would increase gradually, and that will stimulate the follicular phase. Clear? That will regenerate the endometrium by proliferation and also the maturation of the Graafian follicle. So along with the LH and FSH, they will also increase their secretion, right? And they will reach at a peak of their secretion at the 14th day of ovulation or the menstrual cycle. Clear? So the peak level of this will be reached in the 14th day of after the menstruation. Is that clear? So this release, this rapid secretion of LH in the mid-cycle of the menstrual cycle is termed as LH surge. The rapid increase of LH in at the mid-cycle of menstrual menstrual cycle is known as LH surge. So the LH surge, so there will be a large amount of luteinizing hormone, isn't it? Due to LH surge, there will be large amount of luteinizing hormone. Now what does that they have? This LH surge would induces the rupture of Graafian follicle. In the follicular phase, the Graafian follicle had matured, isn't it? And so in the due to the LH surge, the LH would induce the rupture of this Graafian follicle. Graafian follicle. Now, that rupturing of Graafian follicle would result in the release of ovum. That is known as ovulation. Ovulation. This is known as the ovulatory phase. Clear? What is being formed? It would be degenerated. The cycle has to go on. Right? So, the rupture of Graafian follicle due to the LH surge would result in the ovulation. That is known as the ovulatory phase. Clear? Ovulatory phase is soon followed by luteal phase. Luteal phase. Now, what is luteal phase? So, the Graafian follicle had ruptured. The remaining portion of the ruptured Graafian follicle would transform into another structure known as corpus luteum. Corpus luteum. Corpus luteum is responsible for the secretion of the hormone progesterone. Progesterone, you have studied in last year what is the main aim of progesterone. They are known as the pregnancy hormone, right? So the release of progesterone by the corpus luteum, they will make ready the uterus for ready for the implantation. Okay, they will set all the facilities and make the uterus ready to receive the zygote, fertilized zygote, and for implantation process. So this is happen that they are making the body to receive the fertilized zygote. If and all the ovum is not fertilized by the sperm, then what happen? Corpus luteum will rupture. All events of menstruation again starts. If it is being going to be pregnant, then all menstruation event stops. Implantation happen, and the next portion is that we'll study about the fertilization and pregnancy. But if there is no pregnancy, if there is no fertilization, again all this happens. What happens? The corpus luteum first of all degenerate, and that corpus luteum degenerate, and that results in the degeneration of endometrium also. If the endometrium degenerate, again menstrual phase happens. Clear? So this is how a menstrual cycle happens. From the menstrual phase till the luteal phase you have to study. I hope it's clear to you. I know it's little bit confusion. I am repeating it, dears. Read your textbook. Then one picture 3.9 and 3.8, 3.7, 3.9. These three figures, go through it and study. If you are finding any kind of difficulty, you can contact me. Okay, so for time being, I am bidding goodbye to you. Read your textbook, dears. All the lines are same. It is a repeated question. You could expect any type of questions from this area. It's quite important. So read it and study. I hope you will do. So still you are finding any kind of doubt, you can contact me. Okay, so stay safe, be happy, study well. Ta-ta, bye-bye.